Good morning, Amy. You just need to. So come to lie on the floor and have your legs out as if you're in Shavasana. Just let them drop away from each other. And bring both of your hands onto your solar plexus. So that's the area above the navel, but below the breastbone. And as you lie here, start to lengthen your inhale through your nose. And your exhale. Feel your belly rising up into your hands as you inhale, and falling as you exhale. We're continuing our work today with this energetic center, the solar plexus. And yesterday's class, which was very dynamic, we're going to have a kind of opposite focus today of just really releasing. And tomorrow we're going to have another dynamic class. So those two more fiery practices are to kind of sandwich in this really yummy practice where I really want to invite you to try to experience what is going on within. We spent some time focusing on that yesterday after doing like very strenuous poses that really activate the sympathetic nervous system. But I want you to see today if you can still listen as much through activating the parasympathetic nervous system. So we're going to be focusing on relaxing and seeing what that experience is like in our bodies. As I've said this week, the solar plexus is the center of the ego. So that's what we're working with this week. And our experience on the mat can tell us a lot about how our ego influences our behavior in the world as well. So that's just something else to be aware of in the class today. Before we get into the yin poses, we're going to just work on activating the muscles around the solar plexus, so working with the physical elements of that center. And I don't want you to think about it as a kind of core strengthening workout, but just an engagement of that area. So it's up to you if you want to keep your eyes closed, or of course open them, and let's start with a big stretch. So reach the arms up overhead. Reach out from your fingertips and out through your toes, this big, yummy, yummy stretch to start our practice today. And an audible exhale as you release that. Bend the knees and extend the legs up. So you want to think about your feet being in line with your hips. And you're going to activate the legs by either pointing or flexing the feet, whatever feels better for you. And with the legs in the air like this, activate this physical area around your solar plexus. So if your spine is starting to round, you want to ground your sacrum into the floor to stop that curve, which is going to help you to focus on staying strong in the abdomen. And then we're going to slowly start to let the feet drop down and get to the point where you feel that the natural curve of your spine is coming back in. And when you get to that point, just hold it there and then gently bring the legs back up. Really focusing on what's happening in your abdomen. And just keep playing with this, so playing with what that experience is like, of using the core to work the muscles all down our hips, all down our legs. That's what we're doing here. So the movement of the legs is being controlled by the engagement of the muscles around your solar plexus. Maybe you're starting to feel some heat being generated already. That's good. The element of the solar plexus is fire, so we want to let that in, but then know that we're also going to let that gently burn throughout the rest of the class. Okay, this time let the legs drop down a little bit further, and you're going to lift your torso so your arms are reaching forward. And this is, the lower your legs are, the stronger that activation is going to be. Hold here for 5 breaths. I'm getting a shake coming in already. If you are to, allow that, notice that. And then bend the right knee in towards your chest. Bring your hands to the base of your skull and turn your left elbow to the right knee. So instead of thinking of this as like a bicycle twist or whatever they're called in a gym workout, just think about it as a really good way to activate the muscles, the physicality around your solar plexus. Switch, bring the left knee in and the right elbow to that knee. And switch, other side. So twisting here too. Remember yesterday, this twisting is wringing out emotion. And switch. One more time back to the right. Using your breath here. And last one, back to the left knee. Beautiful. Extend both legs, come back to the center, drop the arms down, drop the legs down. And again, reach your fingers up overhead so you can stretch out that contraction that you just had at this center. Big release. Okay. Now you're going to, on your next inhale, start to lift the torso, lift the arms, and see if you can come up to seated, into Dandasana with a flat back, without pushing down onto the floor. Yes, great. So try to keep the legs absolutely still and just using the core here. If you need to use your feet, if you need to use your hands, that's fine. We just want to still be working with the abdomen to propel this movement. So exhale, come up. Inhale, come back down. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last one, exhale. And come to Dandasana. So hands just by the hips, sitting strong into your sit bones, spine lifted, chin tucked. Remembering that this is your practice, make it work for you. Please think of yourself as your own teacher that's going to give yourself adjustments, work within your capabilities, push yourself within your capabilities, listen to what your body needs. Walk the hands back slightly, elbows coming together, point the toes and lift the hips, come to Purvottanasana, reverse plank. Dropping the head back. See if you can reach your toes down to the floor. And again, thinking about the energy coming out of the solar plexus here. hips. And exhale. Come down. Bend the knees. Bring your hands underneath the knees and lift the legs into Navasana. Strong in the core. Lift the chest. Shoulders rolling away from your ears. And then drop the feet. Extend the legs. Hands back behind you and lift back up into Purvottanasana. Exhale, drop down, come back into Navasana, and any variation you want. If you want to have the hands behind the knees, do that. I have a tendency to always want to do the hardest variation, and I ask myself to let go of that need for being in the most intense variation. I invite you to do the same. Beautiful. Drop the feet down and let's give ourselves a big hug. Oh. We're working with the ego this week, and in this hug, just know that whatever it is that you experience in your ego, maybe you've identified something you'd like to work on, know that that is absolutely okay. It's not a fault of your personality if you know that there's stuff that you need to work on. It's just something to continue to nurture by showing kindness to yourself, patience with yourself, as you work towards whatever your intention is for this week. Okay. Extend both legs in front of you, and if you have a bolster or a blanket that you've wrapped up, or you can just put cushions behind you, bring that now onto next to like the base of your spine. And make sure that you've got enough room to be able to drop back onto that. You may also want to put a pillow behind you, ready for your head. And we're going to come into our first yin pose. So bend the right knee, hug that in towards your chest, and then take hold of the right foot and bring that next to your right hip. Both sit bones on the floor. You change legs so you can see what I mean. And you want your knees to be kind of together, as much as is comfortable. But if this is painful for you, then please bend the knee the other way, so that you're in kind of a Janu Sirsasana, with the right foot into the left thigh, knee out. But otherwise, bending it this way. And start to let yourself come down onto this bolster. See how that feels, resting on your elbows. And if that's comfortable, then let yourself come onto the blanket, bolster, cushion, whatever you have to support you. You don't need to have this support, but here's an opportunity to soften your practice. If it's not comfortable, then adjust so that you can be comfortable, because we're going to stay here for 3 minutes. Maybe you want to bring the arms out either side of you, so that you're also feeling this open expansion in your torso, so that you can feel the opening in your solar plexus, as well as that moving up into your heart space. You may want to bring the arms up over your head. Find what's comfortable for you here. And focus on the breath. helps you to experience this pose in a different way. You can bring your focus to the center of the solar plexus, this space above your navel, below your breastbone. And imagine a bright, glowing yellow light in this center. And that light is not just coming outside of the surface of your skin. It's not just coming out of the front of your body, but it's emanating warmth and fire all around it. So it's coming out the back of your body, it's coming out the sides of your bodies into the electromagnetic space which surrounds your physical body. You could also picture a yellow disc there. Keep your awareness on the breath and on the experience within your body. Open your eyes or keep them closed if that's going to help you keep this journey inwards. Come up onto your elbows. Come to flat back. And then gently twist your torso over to the left side and walk your hands forward over the left, with your torso coming over the left leg in a very slight twist. You can maybe bring the right hand to the outside of the foot. Lengthen, and here's another opportunity to soften into this pose. Bring a cushion underneath you. Bring multiple cushions underneath you. Let's set this up to be a really yummy, yummy relax and release. So as long as you're feeling that slight twist in the belly, in the solar plexus, so that you can feel that ringing out. It doesn't matter how far you're going to come down over the leg. Thinking about releasing here. As I say that, I've become so aware of the things that I've already tensed up because of my muscle memory of the types of forward folds that I normally do. If you're experiencing that too, then know that it is okay to let all of that go. Let the foot go, let the muscles and the thighs go. Ask yourself, are you someone for whom it is easy to let go of things? You feel the answer coming up that no, you are not someone for whom it is easy to let go. And think about why. What would you want to let go of if that was easier for you?
breath. And staying with the awareness of the physical experience in your body as you let yourself go. Start to bring your torso back up. If you have a cushion, move it to one side. Bend the right knee. Bring that foot over the other leg. Inhale, lift the left arm and either bring it outside of the knee or just hug it around, whatever feels more comfortable. Release the right arm behind you, lengthen through the spine. And moving from the abdomen, twisting gently over your shoulder. Come back to center. Extend both legs out and just give them a shake for a moment, releasing any tension. And then bending the left knee. I'm very confused because I did the opposite legs and now I have no idea what side is left and right. So the other leg that you did last time, which I believe is your left. And again, if it's not comfortable, then come into the other variation with the knee extended out. But otherwise, preparing to come back down into this very, very comfortable position, whatever that is for you. Maybe you're stepped super high with the pillows behind you. And release down. Be here for 3 minutes. Again, finding how you want to have your hands. If it was too much before having them extended, you could just bring them back onto the solar plexus. Listening to your breath. Listening to your body. And feeling an energetic release. If you find it hard to stay focused, then the mantra for the solar plexus is RAM, R-A-M. And you can either say that inwardly or outwardly as you breathe. The symbolic animal for the solar plexus is also the ram. So you can even picture a ram. Whatever just helps you to stay on this journey inwards, listening to the body and noticing what comes up for you. Even as I say all these things and talk you through this process of letting go, I continue to push myself, letting myself experience discomfort when there is absolutely no need for me to. And that's how I know that
this is the work that I have to do. It's letting go. Letting go of perfection, letting go of comparison with others, with myself, of always trying to be at my best. Let yourself feel the release. This intention of letting go. Last inhale here. Gently coming up onto your elbows. And then taking whatever support you want to give yourself. If it's a little, if it's a lot, it is your practice. Gently twisting over the extended leg. And then let yourself come forward onto your pillows, your blanket, your leg. Ask yourself, before we sink in, how can you adjust to make this even more comfortable? And then let go of the foot. Came to class on Monday, then we set an intention in that class. And if you didn't come to class on Monday, then maybe you want to see if an intention comes to your mind now. And maybe you can recognize something in your ego that you are aware that you'd like to work with. Our ego is the culmination of all of our worldly experiences, everything that's happened up to this point, that make us who we are as an ego. But know that you are also more than your ego. So whatever that means to you, this idea of this other self, that other self's purpose is to look after this ego self, look after this personality that has experienced so much throughout our lives and can be vulnerable. So we're here to nurture our egos, not judge them or try to deny them. Just know they're a result of everything that we've experienced. Treating yourself with love and kindness in our practice today, and then moving that love and kindness off of the mat as well into the rest of our day and our lives. Last inhale here, and exhale, start to come back up. Bring the pillows to the side and take the bent knee, bring that foot over your extended leg, and either bringing the elbow outside the knee or just hugging the arm around you. Bring your left arm behind you, lengthen through the spine, and then really gently twisting from the solar plexus, looking over the shoulder.
come back to center. Extend the legs in front of you and give them a shake. And then slide that bolster or blanket away from you. But if you have a block, now have it to hand or just your cushions. Your cushions, pillows, cushions, have them to hand and come down to lie on your back with your knees bent. We're going to come into a supported bridge. So check the distance between your heels and your sit bones. It should be 1 hand's distance apart. And knees are hip distance apart. And you're going to round the shoulders down and then start to lift the hips up. And if you have a block, slide that underneath you on, I really don't recommend that you do it on the highest level, but maybe the second highest or maybe the lowest. Or you can use cushions. You want to get that tilt in the pelvis, but very, very gently. So even though I've got a block, I'm doing it with cushions. And you want that to be underneath your sacrum, so it's your sacrum that you're supporting, where these two kind of dimples might be in your back, base of your spine. And let your hands come to rest on your solar plexus, but think about the sensation of your hands coming to touch your body. And let that be a touch of pure love for yourself. Gentleness, softness. Touching yourself as if you are the most precious being in the whole world, which you are. Using whatever tools you have here to keep your attention inwards. If using the colour of the chakra is helpful to you, that is there for you to use. If using the mantra helps you, then that is there for you to use. If focusing on the symbolism of the ram is helpful to you, that is there for you to use. Or, as always, the breath is there for you to use. Staying with your focus.
asking yourself, what do you want to move forward into the world with? How can you bring equilibrium into your life? Last inhale here. And then release your hands and move aside your block or your cushions. Lift your hips. Release whatever's underneath them. Option to stretch the hips up for one moment. Maybe you can bring the hands underneath them, but if you'd rather release back down, do that. It's a nice opportunity to just feel that openness that we've created here in the yin pose. Lifting the hips high. And exhale, release the hips back down. Extend the legs, reach the arms overhead, and using the core to pull yourself back up to Dandasana. Release the hands. We're coming into our last yin pose now, which is going to be Baddha Konasana, but really nice to be able to lift your pelvis up here to help fold forward. So maybe you want a little cushion, maybe you want some more underneath your hips. And bring the feet together. I need to sit more on this, yes. Make sure you're comfortable. I think I could be more comfortable, you know. How high can I be? And if you want to bring something underneath the knees as well, then bring some cushions underneath there. Soles of the feet pressing together, lengthening through the spine, and then first just bring your hands behind you onto your fingertips so that you can extend through the spine. And then maybe you want to bring stuff in front of you. We're going to gently release down, and absolutely a round in the spine here is fine. We're not trying to force anything. You're just letting your head drop wherever is comfortable for you. So again, maybe you need to move some stuff around. Inviting in softness, kindness, ease, and really focusing your attention on this solar plexus center, maybe connecting with that yellow light, if that is helpful for you. And from that center, say to yourself, I wish you joy, I wish you peace, I wish you love.
gently start to come back up. And moving your soft things to the side. Bend the knees together and let's give ourselves another nice big hug. Maybe you can recall a picture of yourself when you were little. Bring that little version of you to mind and imagine that you are hugging that little version of you and tell them that you promise to look after them forever and that you're going to love them unconditionally no matter what happens. Release your legs, extend the legs out, reach the arms forward and rounding through the spine to come back down onto the floor. Knees into the chest, either cactus your arms out either side or extend the arms and let the knees drop over to the left side, look out over your right shoulder. Last twist here. The class today. And see how gentle now this ringing out has become in this energetic center. Gently bring the knees back in and over to the other side. Look over your left shoulder. Really gentle release before we find stillness in our last pose today. Knees back in. And if you want to use some of your props for Shavasana, then of course do. I'm going to bring pillows underneath my knees. And I'm going to bring my blanket that I had when we were reclined before back down to the base of my spine. But of course, any nice, yummy bed that you can make for yourself now is whatever you're going to need. So when you're ready, come to lie down. Inhale, lots of love in. And exhale, release into our final pose, Shavasana.
Start to bring movement back into your toes, into your fingers, and really being aware of this energetic movement, what that physical movement feels like energetically in your body. You control how that energy moves back into your awareness of your body. Bring the feet together and inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Big, big, big stretch full of gratitude for taking this time to be with your body, with yourself, and exhale to release. Bend one knee, roll over onto your other side, maybe flopping off of your cushions if you had them underneath you. And gently push yourself back up to seated, keeping the eyes closed. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, hands to your heart center. Inhale fully. Exhale fully. Inhale for Om. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. Thank you so much for sharing your energy today. I really felt it. It's a pleasure as always to share the practice with you. Hari Om Tat Sat.